study exercise science. And his favorite memories is making school history by winning sectionals freshman year as a team and puzzle parties. Thank you to her teammates, coaches, and friends and family for supporting her. Hannah Hawkins. Catherine Green. Catherine is escorted by Shirley Knight. Catherine cross country, basketball and track. Her future plans are to attend college and study physical therapy.
I was in the same situation last Friday. I was expecting them to be like, hey, we've got this whole coach. He's going to do what we did. And they're like, yeah, we got Nolan. So I think Catherine's name came up in my phone before you guys. But the only thing that I thought it was really fun working with Kale, the only thing that he did that I'll just make completely say, hopefully he wouldn't follow. He like, there were a couple times where like his kid was like, I don't do this off the bat. He would be like, get out of that. And like my philosophy is
she ran cross country and tennis. Her future plans are to attend University of Chicago and major in psychology. Angela's favorite win is thanking to all coaches who have made this a great season. Angela Vasquez. Will Stegmeyer. Will is escorted by Tom Gillette Stegmeyer. Will Sports, cross country and track. He is undecided on college. His favorite memory, I would like to thank his coaches, teachers, and his friends for shaping him into who he is. Will Stegmeyer. Now for your senior football players. Ramon Anderson. Ramon is escorted by Ramon and Edgar Anderson. Ramon plays football. Future plans are to attend college and study health and science. Ramon would like to thank the Bishop Luers staff and coaches and for 50 years who did their best to make me feel at home. Ramon Anderson. Elias Conrad. Elias is escorted by Jenny Conrad.
You see me?
Elias is sports and football, track, and field. Future plans are to study pre-med at Purdue University.
Ramon, yeah. Come on up here, bud. No,
I'd
you're
like
good.
to thank all the coaches and teachers for pushing him outside of his comfort zone.
Looks like you guys have more, so we'll have you guys right out here.
He would also like to thank his parents, especially his mom, for all the sacrifices she made for his life and education.
Also, sir, you keep me Luers for the charter.
Elias Conrad. Oscar Johnson. Also escorted by his parents, Robert Merchant Johnson. Oscar sports and football, his future plan. He hopes to attend Purdue or Ball State for a construction management degree. He would like to thank his parents for working very hard so that he has the opportunity to attend Bishop Luers and play football. Oscar Johnson. Escorted by Travis and Suzanne Hickley. The sports are football and golf. Its future plans are to attend a trade school and pursue a military career. He would like to thank Mom and Dad for showing their support all through these years. Nick Hickley. Giselle Navarro. Giselle is escorted by Maria Navarro and Cecil Nett. Giselle is football manager. Future plans are to attend Ball State University to study physical therapy. We'd like to thank Coach Lindsay and the team for 2 great years. Giselle Navarro. Adam Lynn. study music performance and music education. She'd like to thank everyone who has been there to support her, especially her mom, Helen McNamara. Sister Amanda. Then sports and football, track and field. Again, plans to attend college to study business administration. Tonight is Ben's 29th career start for the night. He would like to thank all his past and present teammates and coaches for who he is today. Ben Davis. Johnny Sewell. Johnny is escorted by Johnny and Shay Sewell. He supports of football. He plans to attend college and study business administration and management. His favorite memory is getting on Highland Zone as a freshman for an interception. Johnny Sewell. Marissa Strack. Escorted by Alicia Strack. Marissa is a football manager. Her future plans are to attend college in Indianapolis and study psychology. She'd like to thank her mom and grandparents for supporting and helping her unconditionally so she could succeed in the future. She loves you all. Marissa Strack. Sydney Strack, escorted by Joe and Shelby Strack. Sydney sports are football and soccer. Future plans to attend Fort William to study nursing. She'd like to thank all the boys and coaches for letting her be one of the boys for the season. Sydney Strack. Dakota Suliff, escorted by Mindy Cook and Matthew Suliff. He sports in football, track and field. His future plans are to attend Shrine University and study mechanical engineering. We'd like to thank all his friends and family for helping him through the many challenges in his life. He is finding the true value of respect and work ethic. Dakota Suliff. Brendan sports and football. His future plans are to attend college to study exercise science. He would like to thank all his coaches, teammates, for the progress he has made since his freshman year, and for the continued support during his rehab process. Brendan Ware. James Harden, escorted by Paul and Samantha Reitman. He is sports and football. His plans are undecided. He would like to thank his family, coaches, teachers, and friends for helping him be the man he is today. James Harden. Thank you to all the seniors. Thank you to all the parents, grandparents, and families for supporting all these fine young men and women through Bishop Luers. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mel.
¿No para hacerle el dinero, Gigi?
Voy a agarrarlo y luego lo traes.
Time say.
Gigi. Gigi.
We appreciate your willing cooperation and social distancing and wearing masks throughout the evening. For those standing in the stands, we ask that you do not say early.
¿No quieres another jacket, Gigi?
And that you stay in an empty space between the blue tables. The tables are now 6 feet for social distancing. Your cooperation will allow us to finish our season and continue to have fans and attendance to support our spring athletes. Thank you.
Ay, Carmen. Vamos a que me tome una foto.
39. So the countdown starts about 15 minutes. Should I hit? Otherwise, when it's green, it is not hold it down. Yep. Yep. Talk about realistically. Talk to the dog. Push this. Testing. I hear myself fine. You hear me?
Yep, testing.
Yep, I hear you pretty well.
I'm very, myself, I'm very loud in my own.
Okay, yes, you can control that with these knobs here. Okay. So Patrick is our audio.
Oh, it's the sweatshirt for me. Oh, you're not going to It's the truck. Okay. Raise your hand if you are you guys all the one? Yeah. It's all warm. Okay. I don't condone violence. I called you later. Who is the mic over here? I got gloves on. I told you guys to bring gloves. You guys forgot to bring gloves. We can't say nothing. Besides, we're not done. Hello.
At this time, if we can have everybody, please stand for the signal fight songs as played by Bishop Luers High School Band under the direction of Mr. Adam Hickey.
You're so tiny right here, Mom. It's okay. He's like, oh, stop it. Stop it. She know I'm just kidding.
At this time, I'd like to have everybody please remain standing and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem. The singing will be done by Bishop Luers student Ariana Molina.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars
5 minutes for prayer.
Kevin, tell them to reset the scoreboard, score and everything.
Hey.
I mean, that's a little obnoxious.
Kevin, you got a mic for the bishop? We got it.
This time I'd like to introduce officials for tonight's game. Referee E.J. Carroll, umpire Don Luers, headlines are Dwenger line judge Tim Kressel, and back judge Ronald Sherry. Now to introduce the starting defense for Bishop Dwenger Saints. Number 22, senior, strong safety Sam Pisa. Number 24, Callahan Scuffler, defensive back. Number 25, Devin Dwenger, a linebacker, senior. Number 30, Adam Lee, a junior, strong safety. Number 34, Gavin Rose, a junior linebacker. Number 39, John Michael Fabini, a senior, strong safety. Number 42, Joel Vogelini, a junior linebacker. Number 15, Jack Young, a senior defensive lineman. Number 54, Joe Eddy, a junior defensive lineman. Number 57, Dan Tipman, a junior defensive lineman. Number 70, Owen Lee, a senior defensive lineman. And now for your Bishop Luers Knights offense. Number 2, a junior running back, Sir Hale. Number 4, Trey Steele, a senior wide receiver. Number 5, J.J. Hill. Number a sophomore tight end. Number 10, Carson Clark, a junior quarterback. Number 15, Eli Goodman, a junior wide receiver. Number 26, Nick Nickley, a senior wide receiver. Number 51, Garrett Schweitzelman, an offensive lineman junior. Number 53, Brendan Mitchell, a junior offensive lineman. Number 55, George Dwenger, a junior offensive lineman. Number 66, Billy O'Connor, a junior offensive lineman. And number 73, David Campbell, a senior offensive lineman. Stand up, people. Here comes Miller. It's Luers Knights. At this time, please rise and remove your caps as Bishop Kevin Rose leads us all in prayer. In the name of the Father,
Father in heaven, we ask you to bless these athletes, It's rivalry week in the SAC, and tonight on the south side of Fort Wayne, it's the Battle of the Bishops as Luers host Dwenger in the 59th all-time meeting between the Summit City's Catholic schools. Next. Greetings from Luers Field in Fort Wayne. Tonight it's Bishop Luers hosting Bishop Dwenger. Hi everyone, and a pleasant Friday evening to you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on a night when, just like across the street at the old Scott's, there's that signature cornucopia. You've got a cornucopia of big-time sporting events, from the NBA Finals to the WNBA Finals, Major League Baseball playoffs, and, oh yeah, some high school football too, and a fun rivalry week here tonight.
Absolutely. The Battle of the Bishops. Can't be more excited than this. Looking forward to see two SAC squads come together and play a good game tonight.
Yeah, and not only two of the top programs in the SAC and Northern Indiana, but in the entire state of Indiana historically. That said, it has been Bishop Dwenger that has had the better of this rivalry recently. The Saints have won 4 in a row in this series. And, Brett, this year, Bishop Dwenger right now tied at the top of the SAC standings with Homestead and Carroll. Those two schools playing each other tonight in Southwest Allen County. While for Bishop Luers at 2-4 tonight, a chance, well, to go biblical, to be the David to the Dwenger Goliath.
Absolutely, absolutely. Certainly a monumental task Luers will be facing tonight with a young roster. Dwenger's got a lot of proven guys, and they seem to just, they don't really rebuild at Dwenger, they reload, and that's kind of what we're seeing again this year.
No doubt about it. As for Luers, rather rare, but a little bit of a rebuilding period. It's a team that plays more sophomores than seniors. Tonight actually is senior night, the final regular season home game for these Knights, and who knows what's in store once the draw for the sectionals comes, but the last guaranteed home game for these Knights seniors. And that said, a couple of key seniors out of the lineup tonight due to injury. As a matter of fact, it's 6 key players for the Knights who are not available tonight, covering about 8 or 9 starting positions when you factor in guys going both ways. And to start things off, it's a squib kick. Bishop Dwenger doesn't initially recover it cleanly. The Knights wishing that they've got it at the bottom of the pile, and we'll see. Senior Johnny Sewell was pointing Knights ball, and it is. Bishop Luers recovers the opening kickoff. And if you're going to play spoiler and try to pull off an epic upset, that's exactly the way to start it.
Absolutely. It looked like number 7, Nelson Knepke, with the jumping on the ball there. And what a good start here when you're trying to play spoiler.
It's the Knights in the all-black, while Bishop Dwenger has the Notre Dame-esque uniforms, white jerseys, gold helmets, and gold pants. 5-1 Saints against the 2-4 Knights. While Dwenger won last week at against Concordia. It was Bishop Luers that lost a competitive game on the road at Northrop. Most recently at home a couple weeks ago, Bishop Luers had a phenomenal, scintillating win, 49-46 over Northside. We'll take a look back at that one coming up. Carson Clark is the junior quarterback, one of the top arms in the entire state. And here he shows off the wheels, running for a first down.
That's just what we're going to need to see out of Luers tonight, making plays. Bishop Dwenger has a fierce pass rush. That's one thing. I think they're averaging over 4 sacks per game coming in. So Carson's going to have to make some plays with his feet when it's not there through the air.
That's what he does on the opening play from scrimmage for Bishop Luers. A year ago, as a sophomore, Clark made his varsity debut against Bishop Dwenger, and talk about being fed to the wolves, so to speak. Certainly took his lumps and his hard hits literally last year, but has shown great development now in his junior season. It'll be an even bigger challenge for him, though, tonight, as he's without his top target in Brody Glenn and another top receiver in Krayshawn Menson. And his first pass tonight, incomplete.
That was a great job by 34 Gavin Groves to really blow up that screen pass.
It is a phenomenal Bishop Dwenger defense, second in the SAC in terms of fewest points allowed, second to only Concordia.
Certainly it appears as if the plan early is to attack the perimeter. They must not think there's too much sledding right in between the tackles.
"14 seconds in. This is a 2nd and 10 from the 24 for the Knights. Clark, pressured, rolls out, and he goes down out of bounds. John Michael Fabini in on the play for Bishop Dwenger. The senior is their leading tackler on the season. And outside the huddle.net, picked him as one of 5 players to watch in Northeast Indiana tonight, and you immediately saw a glimpse of why.
Clark had a little bit of time there, but it didn't last very long. Ended up taking the sack, and I got a 3rd and very long.
Yeah, now 3rd and 20. Clark, deep ball, incomplete. Targeting Eli Gerhardt.
That's about all you can do on a 3rd and long is give your wide receiver outside a chance to make a play.
There was Callan Stauffer, senior in coverage for the Saints.
A 4th and long here. Do you think this is something where they line up and it might be a pooch punt or something like that?
We'll see. We'll mention how Brody Glenn, the top wide receiver for this Knights team on the season, is out tonight with an injury that was sustained on the opening kickoff last week against Northrop. Well, Glenn also has been the punter for the most part this season for Bishop Luers. Going for it on 4th and 20. Clark across the middle. It's intercepted. Colin Vance, the junior safety, brings it to the near side of the field, and in a way, that's almost like a punt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. After the return, late flag on the play too. If you had an illegal block or something, that might send it back and make it even more like a punt.
Yeah, saw that flag at the 40-yard line. By the way, this natural grass field is looking excellent for week 7 of the season, and kudos to the dads here at Bishop Luers who maintain this field. And they got a little fancy here tonight, this big rivalry game against the Saints, the Battle of the Bishops, and the Knights logo painted at midfield.
Yeah, everything looks in pristine condition tonight.
So you see on that illegal block in the back, Bishop Dwenger backed up 10 yards, and they'll start their first offensive possession of the night at the 30-yard line. So you got the junior Carson Clark as the signal caller for Bishop Luers. As for Dwenger, it's senior Brendan Lytle. And this Bishop Dwenger offense in recent weeks has become quite dynamic. Traditionally, Dwenger, with all their success, has kept things relatively basic, power run style team, but of late they have really been multiple on offense Last week, KJ Tittman scored a 60-yard touchdown out of the Wildcat, and not to mention a couple of weeks ago, the win of the year for Bishop Dwenger against Carroll. And Lytle set a program record throwing for over 300 yards. He has trouble with the snap, and he goes down. Big loss. Mason Daring, the junior linebacker who leads Luers in tackles on the year, got to Lytle after the rough snap.
This is exactly what you need if you're Bishop Luers to start the game as a big underdog like they are coming into tonight. You need to have some breaks fall your way. They certainly have created some of their own breaks as well thus far.
Yeah, no question. Kyle Lindsay knows that his team's up against it here tonight. That said, despite a sub-500 record this year, he and the coaching staff and those around this Knights program, they really love where they're at and where they're going. Option play here for Dwenger, and there's room on the near sideline. And there's still a lot of room to go. KJ Tittman's going to take it all the way. Touchdown, Saints. However, there's a flag on the play in the backfield, and I've got a feeling that could be coming back.
It is a block in the back.
So KJ Tittman will have to catch his breath. That would have been but a 75-yard touchdown run.
He is going right back into the huddle, though. I thought after that long of a run, he might.
Part of a three-headed Tittman monster, just in the running back position.
Yeah, if Dwenger's going to be running the ball, which they do want to do, they're going to be handing it to a Tittman.
Yeah, it gets a little bit easier for us broadcasters in a situation like this. When in doubt, just say Tittman. Three primary runners for Bishop Dwenger are KJ Tittman, 23, as well as Devin Tittman, 25. And don't forget about Louis Tittman, number 26. Right here, the featured back is KJ, a junior. This is considered 2nd and 33 after the sack and the penalty. Lytle pressured, and he swallowed up. The Knights D makes another play. Defensive end, Nelson Kanapke.
Coming into the game, Dwenger known as the team with the fierce pass rush, but good to see Luers getting some pressure here early, forcing a 3rd and extremely long.
Definitely an inspired effort so far for the Knights all around, from recovering the opening kickoff to picking up a first down on offense, and now forcing Dwenger into a 3rd and forever, or officially 35.
Senior night for Luers, you mentioned earlier, not a lot of seniors on the roster, but we're playing hard for the ones that are out there playing and for the ones that are out injured as well.
Exactly right. Idle's pass incomplete, and the Saints will have to punt. Rocco Siako was the intended target. Penalty comes back to bite Dwenger there on that possession, and the focus for Jason Garrett's team here this week has been self-control. That was what he said was their weekly virtue, if you will. All things considered, the Saints have had a terrific season so far at 5-1, with the only loss coming against Homestead in triple overtime on the road. Came down to the Saints going for a 2-point conversion that came up short. So they're that close to being unbeaten this year. They're ranked number 3 in 5A. But not to say there isn't room for improvement. And Coach Garrett has said that recently he feels like his team's had some uncharacteristic penalties that have hurt them, like in this case. And typically Dwenger, such a disciplined team, that's a big part of the reason they've had the success that they have had.
Absolutely, and very consistent, just going through the box scores and everything. They've scored at least 27 points in every game this year, has Dwenger. And so sort of inauspicious start tonight.
There you go. One way to describe it here. He's Brent. I'm John. Glad to have you with us here. Battle of the Bishops from Luers Field. Scoreless with 9:31 to go in the first quarter. And following the timeout, it's 4th and 35, and the Saints set to punt. Simon Garrett, son of head coach Jason Garrett, one of Coach Garrett's 13 children.
This is a very risky punt. If you look, his back foot is, what, a foot, maybe foot and a half off the back of the end zone there.
About as backed up as can be. Simon Garrett's punt got it off cleanly. Sir Hale on the return, bottled up at the 37. Excellent field position here for the Knights on their second offensive possession.
That's twice now after recovering that onside kick. 2 possessions, 2 great starts here for Luers in terms of winning the field position battle this evening.
The Knights know that they're underdogs, but hey, like you said, senior night, the game of the year that's always marked on the calendar. These teams have met at least once every single season since 1965. That was the first year of the Bishop Dwenger program. Luers has a handful of years on him, beginning back in '61. Both coaches are alums. A lot of tradition and history here for both programs. Sir Hale on the handoff. He's the primary ball carrier now for Bishop Luers, as Ramon Anderson, who came into this season as the featured back, he's out with an injury. And another one of those guys who goes both ways. Anderson also stand out at safety, and it's Hale who's taken his spot in both of those capacities.
Anderson, a 3-year starter at safety, really providing some leadership. He's going to be doing that leadership from the sideline tonight.
Yeah, and so far, a lot of life from the guys in black on the bottom of your screen. Clark has some time. Thrown across his body. Deep ball, incomplete. Was looking for Johnny Sewell.
Tough throw on the run there by Clark. He gave his receiver a chance, just a little bit overthrown there.
Good work, though, by the offensive line. One that has only one senior on it, the center, Ben Rectanis. Otherwise, another one of the guys out tonight for the Knights. Their senior starting right tackle, which for a left-handed quarterback is the key position there in Foster Johnson.
Too. Started solely on defense, and they had to move him over with all the injuries.
3rd and 9. Pass is caught near the line of scrimmage, and check that, incomplete. Jaden Hill, sophomore, lost control as he was hit. .831 first quarter, no score, Bishop Dwenger and Bishop Luers from Luers Field. 4th and 9, and the Knights will go for it. Clark fires, incomplete. Turnover on downs. Again, to emphasize playmakers who are out tonight for Bishop Luers. Primary running back Ramon Anderson, top receiver Brody Glenn, Krayshawn Menson, arguably the number 2 wideout, Nick Thompson, promising sophomore who's got multiple touchdown catches on the year, right tackle Foster Johnson, and then Isaiah Simmons, who's a starter at defensive end. But even without Simmons' impact right there, good gang tackling by Bishop Luers.
Really impressed by the way they're swarming to the football right now on the defensive side with Luers, especially the way Dwenger runs the ball, trying to get to the perimeter. Luers is sort of rallying, and it's not one guy, right? You need multiple tacklers to make sure they get the ball carried to the ground.
Yeah, an inspired collective effort so far through the first 4+ minutes. 7:50 to go, first quarter, scoreless in the Battle of the Bishops. A game that was preceded, in case you missed it, both teams coming together near midfield in prayer, led by the Bishop of the Fort Wayne South Bend Diocese, Bishop Kevin Rhodes. First big play with no flags for Bishop Dwenger.
Devin Tittman there hitting the outside perimeter, and you had that feeling it was only a matter of time until Dwenger hit a big run there after that first series coming back on the holding penalty, but they were able to hit one there.
The senior Devin Tittman, who has 6 touchdowns on the season, described by his head coach, Jason Garrett, as fast and physical, the epitome of a Bishop Dwenger football player. Really praised for his leadership. He gets the big play. Now it's Gavin Groves, and he scampers to the outside, close to a first down. We'll see if the chains move. It's kind of interesting if you look at the SAC leaders in rushing, you don't find a Saints running back in the top 10, and it's only because they've got about a half dozen guys at that position who are threats, who impressively are willing to be team first and share the load.
Absolutely, absolutely. You see that. I don't think anybody has more than 4 touchdowns maybe for the leading rusher as well, so they definitely spread the wealth.
On 2nd and 1, it's Gavin Groves who gains the first down. 6:32 first quarter, no score, but Dwenger's driving.
Dwenger having success running off the right side behind another Tittman, Benji Tittman, the right guard, and Isaac Lehman, the right tackle.
Yeah, Bishop Dwenger, known for being an offensive lineman factory. Left guard Vinny Fiacable's an IU commit. Creative play call, and it's incomplete. Brendan Lytle right there going with that corner fade, and it was nearly hauled in diving fashion by Rocco Siaka. Would have been a highlight reel play. Instead,
Rocco,
now
the leading
2nd and 10.
for Dwenger this year. Big target at 6'4". Had a chance to go up and get that one. Would have been a tough catch to make on the second down here.
.6:05 left, opening quarter. 2nd and 10. Lytle keeps it himself. Third and 6 from the 12.
Lytle making something out of nothing on that second down play. It looked like it was a shovel pass that was blown up. Pulled it down, got about 4 yards on the play, setting up 3rd and 6.
Timeout called by Bishop Dwenger to talk this one over before they will go for it. Go for a first down here on 3rd and 6. When we come back, it's the Battle of the Bishops live on the Neverends Sports Network.
Indiana Physical Therapy is your trusted choice in Northern Indiana. For over 30 years, we've treated all walks of life, from peewees to professionals and Olympians, and everyone in between. Schedule at any of our 19 convenient locations, even without a doctor's order. We communicate with your doctor throughout your treatment. Indiana Physical Therapy is cost-effective, accepting all insurance plans and networks. We're open from 7 to 7 and can get you in the same day you call. Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
Polypro is more than some water epoxy spray-on. Our multi-stage process bonds to the surface and carries a 15-year warranty. Polypro is more than just spray and go. We'll prepare, grind, and patch the surface before we start. And Polypro is more than just 1 or 2 color options. Choose from a variety of designer colors and know that we'll leave the site clean, beautiful, and 100% antibacterial and antimicrobial. You want more out of your garage, patio, basement, or commercial space, and Polypro gives you more. Call for your free estimate.
And on 3rd and 6, wildcat right there to KJ Tittman, who's ushered out of bounds just shy of a first down. So we'll see what the Saints do here on 4th and short.
Talked about Sir Hale stepping up on both sides of the ball due to the injuries, and he stepped up and made a heck of a play there off of the direct snap play.
The junior is one of the smallest guys on the field, but he's got a heart as big as anyone. Coaching staff has really praised his contribution this year.
We saw him in the huddle before the game, getting the team all charged up, so he's definitely got the Luers Knights rally around.
Saints use another timeout. Clock stopped here with 4:28 left in the first quarter. No score between Bishop Dwenger and Bishop Luers. Mentioned how both of these head coaches in some ways kind of grew up in this rivalry. For head coach Kyle Lindsay for the Knights, his dad, Matt, former longtime head coach here from 1987 all the way through 2012. So Kyle's got memories of being a little kid growing up going to Battle of the Bishop games. In fact, he says he's got one memory as a youngster back in 1993, one that went to overtime that Luers wound up winning by a point, 28-27. And as a little kid, he needed to make sure he wasn't trampled over when the Luers students rushed the field. Had a chance to play in it himself. Takes a lot of pride in having a winning record against Dwenger when he was here. 4th and 4, the Saints going for it. They go to the ground, and they get in the end zone. Devin Tittman muscling his way through the middle, and the Saints take a 6-0 lead with 4:22 to go on an 11-yard touchdown run for Devin Tittman.
Certainly not trying to be too cute there. Just here it is, right up the middle off left guard. Can you stop it? And I think the Dwenger Saints may have put all the Tittmans in the backfield on that one to punch it in.
Extra point good for Joe Belanda, the junior, who's been perfect on PATs this year. And that makes it 7-0 Saints. Well, just on paper, this Bishop Dwenger team is bigger in terms of physical stature, and they're significantly deeper too, a program that goes about 100 deep. Matter of fact, as a school with more than 1,000 students, classified in football as a 5A school and ranked number 3 in the state at 5A, compared to Bishop Luers' student body about half the size in the 500s, classified as a 2A school. And so, while so far you credit Bishop Luers for being feisty, at the end of the day, Dwenger does have a distinct advantage.
Absolutely, in terms of numbers, like you said, and in terms of experience, too. Future looking good for Luers, though. A lot of young players getting some good experience here in this rivalry game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, they're here in this game under the lights. Big rivalry game. And it should be just another example of one that'll set the Knights up for potential postseason success this year come the 2A state tournament.
You're not going to see this kind of talent, at least early on, come tournament time.
Saints, or I should say the Knights, are, according to computer rankings, 9th in the state at the 2A level. They have the second highest Sagarin points ranking in their sectional east side, another Northeast Indiana foe, slightly ahead of them. Saw a moment ago, RJ Hogue, a sophomore, back deep here to return. Belanda with the bright yellow shoes, boots it, and from the 11, it's Sir Hale. Hale dances across the 20.
This will be the first Luers possession really having to work the whole field. Let's see. They really need to get something going in terms of a sustained drive. They haven't really been able to find it so far in terms of are they going to be having success throwing the ball or running the ball. So we'll be interested to see what we do here.
It's Ethan Bach being helped off the field. The athletic training crew will tend to him. Hope that Ethan, a sophomore on special teams there, will be all right. At Luers Field, Bishop Luers in black, trailing 7-0 with 4:18 to go in the opening quarter. Carson Clark back to work, play action, and that pass is incomplete as Clark was looking for Eli Gernhardt, junior to junior.
Gavin Groves with good coverage on the play. Another Dwenger player going both ways. We saw him with a couple big runs there on the last drive. They were coming up with a big pass breakup.
Yeah, despite all their depth, Bishop Dwenger does have several players, as you've noted, who go both ways in just a case of, hey, we're going to put our best guys out there.
If they get tired, we're deep enough that we can give them a blow here when we need to.
For sure. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Handoff to Hale, who's hurled backwards. John Michael Fabini got to him first. Brett, great example of the kind of depth that this program has. Go back to this time last year, week 7. John Michael Fabini, as a junior, was a JV player. It wasn't until week 8 last year that he finally worked his way into getting more playing time on the varsity squad. And from that point forward, basically a season's worth of playing time. He has been Bishop Dwenger's leading tacklers. He's been one of the best defensive players in the entire area.
And that shows the kind of offseason he had to have, too, in the weight room, getting the conditioning up and getting ready for a big moment like this.
Exactly. Across the middle, completed pass to Jaden Hill, and the sophomore tackled from behind. That was on 3rd and 12, and the Knights fall short of a first down, and will have to punt. But some progress there, completing a 3rd down pass.
Yeah, about 8 yards there. They had it well set up with some blockers out front. That's definitely something to build on in future drives. Let's see how they line up to punt here.
As mentioned before, Brody Glenn, the team's top receiver, has also been their primary punter. Tonight it'll be Evan Linker, a junior, who takes over the punting responsibilities. Good snap, and Linker shows off a strong leg. And it takes a Knights bounce inside of the 30. There's a flag on the play on the other side of the field.
Can't ask for anything more out of a punt, especially with your backup punter. You get about a 40-yard punt there. See what the call is.
It's against Bishop Luers. We'll see where this ball is spotted with 2:35 left in the first quarter. Regret so far in this first quarter, some technical difficulties graphics-wise. We do hope to have our score bug and more graphics yet to come here in our show tonight. But glad to have you with us. Alongside Brent Herring, I'm John Nolan, Doug Ferguson, our producer. Friday Night Lights presented by Indiana Physical Therapy. It's the Battle of the Bishops. Dwenger leads Luers 7-0. Brendan Lytle with a strike to the far side. It's incomplete. Still trying to work on that connection with Rocco Siaka tonight.
It's been a connection that's been very successful this year. Just haven't been quite able to get on the same page, but good work by the Luers secondary there, putting a hit on him and jarring that jarring the ball loose there on the play.
Yeah, they've been close to completing a few passes like that, but definitely give credit to the Knights D. 2nd and 10 for Dwenger at its own 45. On the handoff, there was contact initially in the backfield and a marginal gain. As again, these Knights kids are giving it all they've got.
That gang tackling again. Very successful so far for Luers.
The Knights playing with an edge, and if you're Dwenger, and they've had quite a stretch here. Last week, win against a Concordia team that for some, they were saying maybe Concordia could pull off an upset because the previous 2 weeks were honestly the biggest games of the regular season for the Saints against Homestead and Carroll. Lytle off of his back foot, lobs it for KJ Tittman, and Tittman gets wrapped up.
Set up the screen nicely, but some good gang tackling. I'm going to keep focusing on that as you just see those Luers players flying around the ball, and here they've forced about a 4th and 6 here.
With 90 seconds left in this first quarter, Dwenger 7, Luers nothing.
Give some credit to number 21 linebacker Mason Daring, the junior. Been in on the last couple plays. He's one of the guys right in the middle of the action.
Yeah, Daring all over the field. Not only the Knights' leading tackler, he ranks among the conference leaders in the SAC.
Line up to go a pooch punt.
And down inside of the 15.
Well executed pooch punt there to make it a long field here for Luers, who's really shown they can't sustain a drive. They've had some nice plays, but making them go with a long field.
And it's an offense for Luers that has been dynamic this year, but tonight the Knights are without 6 starters, 5 on the offensive side of the field. Top receivers, Brody Glenn, Krayshawn Menton, Nick Thompson, all out. Starting right tackle, Foster Johnson out. And star running back Ramon Anderson out as well. Incomplete on the first down pass. Johnny Sewell, one of the few seniors on the field tonight for Luers, running that out pattern.
I do like the play call there. Go with the quick out on first down, try to get some positive momentum, just couldn't quite execute.
First Friday of October, and the fall weather has arrived. Currently 52 degrees with the breeze, feels like 48. Clark finds Hale. Hale with a surge to the outside. That's a first down for Bishop Luers.
Exactly what you need there. Offensively, what you're trying to do is get your best players in space, and that's what they were able to do there with Sir Hale. They set up the screen pass over the middle, get some blockers out front, and they got a dynamic back like Sir Hale into some space there to pick up a good gain, get a first down.
Sir Hale is a playmaker in all phases of the game. Offense, defense, and even on special teams as a returner and sometimes as the eye tackling the opponent's returner. 2 set of downs here for the Knights. Final 30 seconds of the first quarter. Clark slings it. Sewell catches it.
That's the play they tried to execute a few plays ago. They weren't able to do so. To start the drive, they do there. Get a nice 6-yard gain, set up 2nd and 4.
Carson Clark, 13th in the state in passing this year. So far tonight, getting close to 1,300 yards on the season. Has averaged 208 yards through the air per game, has 9 touchdown passes. No touchdowns in the first quarter for Bishop Luers, but still plenty to like there if you're a Knights fan. But at the end of 12 minutes, it's Dwenger 7, Luers nothing, live on the Neverends Sports Network.
Indiana Physical Therapy is your trusted choice in Northern Indiana. For over 30 years, we've treated all walks of life, from peewees to professionals and Olympians, and everyone in between. Schedule at any of our 19 convenient locations, even without a doctor's order. We communicate with your doctor throughout your treatment. Indiana Physical Therapy is cost-effective, accepting all insurance plans and networks. We're open from 7 to 7 and can get you in the same day you call. Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
Polypro is more than some water epoxy spray-on. Our multi-stage process bonds to the surface and carries a 15-year warranty. Polypro is more than just spray and go. We'll prepare, grind, and patch the surface before we start. And Polypro is more than just 1 or 2 color options. Choose from a variety of designer colors and know that we'll leave the site clean, beautiful, and 100% antibacterial and antimicrobial. You want more out of your garage, patio, basement, or commercial space, and Polypro gives you more. Call for your free estimate or to schedule for summer.
Therapy under the lights at Luers Field on the south side of Fort Wayne. It's the 59th Battle of the Bishops. Luers hosting Dwenger. 7-0 Dwenger as we enter the second quarter. And Luers has 2nd and 4 from its own 33. Clark signals Eli Gerhardt in motion. Play action. That pass for Gerhardt deflected. He still makes the catch. Past the 40-yard line. It's a first down for the Knights.
You're seeing a lot of different Luers players get involved on this drive. We've seen Sir Hale. We've seen Johnny Sewell. We saw Jaden Hill on the last drive, and there we see Gerhardt get into some space and pick up the first down.
Yeah, Carson Clark not shy to spread the wealth here, even on a night when his top 2 to 3 receivers are out injured. And Brody Glenn, Krayshawn Menson, and Nick Thompson goes to show you, even if overall the Knights don't have the deepest roster, just about everyone on the field is capable.
And some young players stepping up, too. Of those gentlemen we just mentioned only 1 senior for Luers.
Clark thrown across his body. That one hauled in by Hill. Picks up a couple. And at this point, tip your cap to the offensive line for the Knights. With only 1 senior, big man in the middle, Ben Rectanis. Honored pregame here on senior night for Bishop Luers. But otherwise 4 juniors with George Bidet and Garrett Schwedermar to his left, and Brendan Mitchell and Billy O'Connor on the right side. And other than Rectanis, no one taller than 6 feet on the offensive line. And no one weighing more than 260. Rectanis, though, 6'4", 340. Quick strike to Eli Gerhardt. A couple of short completions. Sets up a 3rd down about 1.5 minutes into the second quarter. It's Dwenger leading Luers 7-0.
Able to pick up a couple yards, though, and get 3rd and manageable here.
Two minutes into the second quarter. This is 3rd and 7 for Bishop Luers. Carson Clark facing pressure, fires. It's caught by Sir Hale. He makes a move. Hale shows off the wheels, and he's in. Touchdown, Knights. 57 yards.
Great play
to Hale.
Sir Hale slipping out of the backfield there, goes unaccounted for. The best player, you get him in space there. Perfect wheel route out of the backfield. Clark hits him right in stride. Makes a couple men miss, has some blockers in front as well.
On 3rd down, it's a big-time play for Bishop Luers. And the Knights are an extra point away from tying this game.
Was a flag on the play there. If you saw it on your screen, it was actually encroachment on the defense, so the play will stand.
That was a free play. And the Knights cashed it in. Roel Pineda, yet another sophomore for Bishop Luers. Number 40 on for the extra point try. Johnny Bloom, sophomore, is the long snapper. And the extra point is blocked. So it's still 7-6. Dwenger up 1.
Something to build on for the Knights.
Yeah, and for Luers, again, it's such a proud history and tradition here, the winningest program in terms of state titles in all of Northern Indiana. 11 state titles to the Knights' name. But last year, it was all one-sided. Bishop Dwenger won last year 47-0, as the Saints have won the last 4 in this series.
The Luers team coming off a 3-8 season, but they've been building toward this. They have some young players they're excited about, particularly in that sophomore and junior class. You get him experience, you get him a touchdown here in a big game against Dwenger, and that's something they're looking to build on here for a strong team that they should have going forward.
Yeah, Kyle Lindsay really optimistic about what the Knights are building. Well, for Dwenger, again, this is a season with state title aspirations at the 5A level. Last year was the first year for Bishop Dwenger getting bumped up from 4A to 5A based in part on the success factor that they've had in their recent state titles. And that said, last year they were about a field goal away from getting back to Lucas Oil Stadium. Fell to Valpo in a semi-state game. And the Saints would have liked to think with a good core from last year's team back, and they've shown what they're capable of this year. And they could get back to Indy in 2020. Colin Vance on the return for Dwenger. Sneaking down the sideline towards the 45.
Nice job by Vance there, making a few players miss and getting something out of nothing. It was kind of in no man's land when he picked up that squib and was able to set up Dwenger with some good field position here.
So Luers just scored on a 57-yard touchdown pass from Carson Clark to Sir Hale in the first quarter. Dwenger scored it 7 points, highlighted by a touchdown run from Devin Tittman.
We've talked about Dwenger having sort of a multiple offense, being able to run the ball and throw the ball. I would look for them to try to run the ball and just establish the ground game here.
Sure enough, on first down, it's a handoff for Devin Tittman, who dashes down the middle up to the Luers 40.
Talk about the proud tradition of Dwenger linemen. We have 3 straight years of a Dwenger lineman going to Division I for the football level for next year. On this year's team, that's left guard.
Yeah, Vinny Fiacable is an IU commit. Of course, Brent Euro, Wisconsin native, and Badgers fans are excited about Joe Tittman.
Yeah, redshirt freshman in this year's team. They did graduate both guards, the Badgers did last year, and I believe they want Tittman to be an interior lineman. He could have a chance for some meaningful playing time already as a redshirt freshman this year.
Still a few weeks away from the Big Ten getting started this year. Hats off to everyone involved around the state here in terms of high school football, especially here in the SAC. And kudos to everyone involved in both of these programs, as all things considered, it's been a pretty smooth season.
Absolutely, absolutely.
During a pandemic.
Yes. Everybody pretty distanced in the crowd this evening. A lot of people wearing masks, the vast majority.
Yeah, for a rivalry game here, not necessarily the same electricity as in the past, but hey, again, given the fact that we are in a once-in-a-century pandemic, pretty strong crowd.
Devin Tittman up the middle again. That's 3 carries in a row, and it's basically here it is. See if you can stop it. And right now, Luers is not able to stop it. And they're doing some rotating, getting some new fresh linemen in here to try to really plug things up and make Dwenger try to do something else.
Such a stout offensive line for Bishop Dwenger. They have had an injury on that offensive line, so they've shuffled some things around a bit, maybe not firing at 100% power, but Grant Sorge, Vinny Fiacable, Joe Fabini, the senior center, working with Benji Tittman and Isaac Lehrman.
KJ Tittman up the middle that time, just rotating the Tittmans around, spreading the love, the family love around there, and getting the first down on that carry.
Bishop Dwenger runs on Tittman, and Tittman's run it. It's Bishop Dwenger 7, Bishop Luers 6, with 8 minutes to go in the first half. Battle of the Bishops at Luers Field. 1st and 10 from the 11 for the Saints. Hand off to Devin Tittman. Has a hole on the right side. Bulldozes his way up to the 5.
This has really been Devin Tittman's drive. I think he's made all the carries but one, and he's having a lot of success off that right side of the line, and he runs hard, and he gets that low center of gravity, and even on a play like that Luers did a pretty good job of plugging up. He kept the legs churning, and he ended up with 6 yards on the play.
And his head coach, Jason Garrett, describes him as fast and physical, and that's a combo that certainly plays here.
Leads the team in rushing touchdowns this year with 6. And now they're getting down close here inside the 10. I would anticipate he's your man here inside the 10. You go to the big back.
Sniffing that end zone again on 2nd and 4. Devin Tittman receives it once more, got tripped up. RJ Hogue, a sophomore. Credit for the tackle there for Bishop Luers. 3rd and 2, 6:50 to go, first half.
Important to note here that they're on the 4. You can get a first down here if you can get inside the 2-yard line here.
Power formation for the Saints. Handoff to Devin Tittman. Touchdown, Dwenger. And the Saints extend their lead with 6:30 to go in the first half. The visitors are up 13-6.
All on the ground there. It was about a 60-yard drive. Started after the nice return on the kickoff. And really, most of the time, we're running behind the right side of the line. Had a few, especially the touchdown play was on the left side. A lot of success on the ground there for Dwenger. They want to play fast. They want to play physical, and they certainly did on that drive right there.
Joe Belanda's extra point, true. It's 14-6, Dwenger on the road at Luers.
Your move, Luers, right? I mean, we've seen Luers continue to hang in there. They're taking some body blows here. Let's see if they can fight back here. They had a great drive last time, got Sir Hale in some space. They really haven't shown the ability to run the ball just yet, but they're having some luck protecting the quarterback, Carson Clark, and let's see what they can do here on offense. It's probably going to have to rely on his arm, though, from what we've seen so far.
Here on a night when it's about 50 degrees, this qualifies as sweatshirt weather. You can see plenty of those on the sidelines. Not involved in the game, have the hands in the pockets. And that's why Dwenger is so well built for postseason success with the dominant power run game that they have. And yet they're not exclusively that power run team these days with quarterback Brendan Lytle. Really in sync with first-year offensive coordinator Brody Dixon, who's brought plenty of creativity and imagination to the Saints offense this year.
Really have the luxury, too, in having a third-year starting quarterback like Lytle. He can make plays. He can make plays with his feet, but with all the talent that Dwenger has, he doesn't have to do it all himself either.
Definitely does not. There's Sir Hale on the return. Spun down at about the 20. Yeah, Lytle as a sophomore quarterback for a state title team for Dwenger.
Only thrown 1 interception all year.
Compared to 9 touchdown passes, completing about 65% of his passes. And head coach Jason Garrett just raves about the leadership that he's provided.
Seems like one of those guys that when you're, at the end of a tough practice, you're doing your conditioning drills, he's the guy that always finishes first.
Mm-hmm. Highly competitive. Luers offense back on the field, trailing 14-6 with 6:24 to go in the first half. Handoff to Sir Hale. He's a do-it-all guy here for the Knights. Kickoff returns, running it on first down after the previous play from scrimmage for the Knights was a 57-yard touchdown pass to Hale.
We're looking for any kind of adjective we can use to describe Hale. We've used several of them. On that one, I think I would say shifty, which I haven't said yet. It was blocked up okay, but he had to get a lot of that on his own and is able to do that off the left side.
Successfully shifty. 4 yards on first down. Here's 2nd and 6. Clark connects to Jaden Hill.
Luers bringing the blitz there. Sir Hale stepped up and picked up the blitz to enable Clark the opportunity to step up and complete the pass to Hill, setting up a 3rd and 2, 3rd and short, something manageable. Let's see what Luers can come up with. Haven't really been able to run the ball. You almost feel like a guy like Hill, big tight end over the middle, could be a good target here. They just haven't had that much success running the ball, so you think even on a 3rd and 2 here, they'd probably be spreading it out.
5:05 to go, first half. The Knights down 8 on 3rd and 2. Play action. Clark hit as he throws. Completed to the senior Sewell on the far side. It's a first down up to the 46-yard line, but there is a flag on the play.
Let's see what the flag is. That was a great play by Sewell. Contested catch.
It's against Luers.
I think it was a legal man downfield on number 51.
Left guard Garrett Schwederman. Hey, there we go. It's Friday Night Football presented by Indiana Physical Therapy. With Brent Herring, I'm John Nolan. Doug Ferguson, our producer.
Let's see what Clark's arm can come up with here on 3rd and 7 after the penalty. Blitz.
Pressure coming across the middle. Complete. Eli Gerhardt with a first down.
A great play call on the blitz. Let the pass rush come toward you and then just slip it right over the top of them.
How about the maturation of Carson Clark? Again, it was about this time a year ago as a sophomore that he got his first taste of varsity against this dominant Dwenger team. He struggled. A year later, he's got his team in this game late in the first half.
That was a very mature play by Clark, too. You can get a little antsy when the pass rush is coming at you like that, but he was able to step up and slip that ball off and get the big first down for his team.
New set of downs for Clark and company. Hale handoff. Has a couple.
Great job by Clark just getting the snap. The snap was a little bit to his left there, and he was able to still execute the play.
Defensive end Jack Knight with a diving tackle.
If you're Luers, at this particular time, I think you want to just eat up this clock and maybe not give Dwenger another chance before the end of this first half.
That would be ideal, huh? Clark a peek to his sideline. On 2nd and 7, the junior spirals it, and it's incomplete.
Gavin Groves again, really good coverage over the middle on that play. That's a name we've called a few times on offense and on defense.
Strong safety there with strong play, almost had a pick. On 3rd and 7, Clark lobs it off of his back foot. It's caught by R.J. Hogue. He's wrapped up at the 45.
Colin Vance on the tackle there. That's sort of one of those fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. They were not going to get beat on that little slip screen up the middle with the pressure coming at them. That time the safeties really shot from the back end and wrapped that play up.
You imagine the Knights will punt here, but using as much time as they can.
To have all 3 timeouts, too. There's a chance they could run this down and then.
Play clock is at 1, and they use the timeout. Keep in mind, it was Bishop Luers that kicked off to begin this game, and they recovered.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an onside kick, but a squib kick that proved problematic for Bishop Dwenger, and that was part of a spirited start for Bishop Luers here against a Bishop Dwenger team that's tied atop the SAC standings with two teams who are playing each other tonight in Homestead and Carroll. Those three all 5-1 in the conference.
It's a big night in SAC action, particularly with ramifications from this game and then the big Homestead Carroll game.
Yeah, Dwenger, at least their fans, if not on the sidelines, doing some scoreboard watching. Since Bishop Dwenger has defeated Carroll but lost to Homestead. So if Carroll wins that game, then Bishop Dwenger effectively would be in first place because they would have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Carroll, whereas they lost on the road in triple overtime at Homestead a few weeks ago.
How often do you think a Bishop Dwenger fan is a Carroll Charger fan? Probably not very often, but on a night like tonight when you have the chance to win the SAC, that's just how things roll sometimes.
Yeah, an exception made. It is rivalry week in the SAC, including here the Battle of the Bishops. Evan Linker in place of Brody Glenn tonight as punter, and he has his second quality punt of the
Best
game.
result you can hope for there, pinning them deep to the 10-yard line.
By the way, Brent, as of a minute ago, Carroll and Homestead tied at 21 with 7:13 to go in that first half. People expected a shootout, and that's what they're getting.
That's exactly what they're getting.
So this is pretty critical here. Bishop Dwenger came in as a pretty big favorite. Leading by 8, they'd have a chance to create some separation. Figure their offense more than capable of driving down the field here with 2:19. Whether they do it on the ground or through the air. It starts on the ground with Devin Tittman.
Two things to consider here, John. Luers does get the ball to start the second half, and Dwenger has burned all 3 timeouts already. So they're running the 2-minute drill here without the luxury of having a timeout.
Ball came out at the end of that play, but it was after Tittman was deemed down. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Brendan Lytle, quick strike to the outside.
That's one way to use the clock to your advantage. Quick out, get out of bounds, set up third and short.
High fives for Henry O'Keefe, the junior. Third and a yard. Lytle calls his own number, makes a man miss.
That had to have been something that Dwenger staff saw on film. That was definitely a quarterback draw, definitely called quarterback draw. The C sort of parted a little bit and was able to get up the middle, pick up the big first down there.
Clash here of Fort Wayne's 2 Catholic schools. Got a reference there to the Exodus, huh? And the flat. Pass is caught by KJ Tittman, who puts a hurting on a defender. It's like Dakota Sulev, senior linebacker, down. And how about the heart here? Oof, that's helmet to helmet. Unintentionally.
They always say low man wins. They both got low on that play, and unfortunately their helmets collided, and that's something you don't want to see.
Sulev, a senior here on his senior night. Hope he's okay as everyone takes a knee here with 1:22 remaining in this first half. We'll step aside with 1:22 remaining in the first half. It's Friday Night Football presented by Indiana Physical Therapy.
Indiana Physical Therapy is your trusted choice in Northern Indiana. For over 30 years, we've treated all walks of life, from peewees to professionals and Olympians, and everyone in between. Schedule at any of our 19 convenient locations, even without a doctor's order. We communicate with your doctor throughout your treatment. Indiana Physical Therapy is cost-effective, accepting all insurance plans and networks. We're open from 7 to 7 and can get you in the same day you call. Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
1:22 to go, first half. Bishop Dwenger looking to add to a 14-6 lead. Brendan Lytle with a completion on the far side to Sam Campbell. But there was Sir Hale, the
There's that guy again.
Junior for Bishop Luers, delivering a big hit.
Also important to note that 32, Dakota Sullivan was able to walk off the field under his own power after that injury timeout.
So great to see. Final minute, first half, Battle of the Bishops, pre-snap movement, and I think it's on the Saints.
I'm thinking it was the right tackle, but we'll see.
In any case, it's a false start to back Bishop Dwenger up 5 yards, stopping the clock, 49.8 to go. That turns it from a 3rd and 6 into about a 3rd and 11. Call it 10. Lytle facing pressure. Airs it deep. Almost a spectacular catch, but
the diving
incomplete
effort
to
by
Henry
O'Keefe. Tried to get both feet in there. That was a really good effort, but just wasn't able to come up with it.
And that's a huge stop for the Bishop Luers defense, forcing Bishop Dwenger now to punt. And keep in mind, Luers set to receive it to start the second half. Bishop Dwenger ranked 3rd in the state in 5A. Bishop Luers just a 2A school, the smallest school in the SAC, trying to snap a 4-game losing streak against their arch rival here in the Fort Wayne South Bend Diocese. Doing it short-handed on senior night. The Knights without 6 starters, including a few who play both sides of the football. So they're down 8 starting positions. If you include special teams, down 9 starters, and yet hanging tough.
Here we are, 14-6. So you got a 1-score ball game. I would imagine they'd probably sit on it here, be happy with the 14-6 deficit, knowing especially that they get the ball to start the second half. But really a well-played first half here. But Luers has to be happy that they're still there. And look at that, they're not even going to sit on it. It looks like they might see what they can get yet.
Well, coming up at the half here on this senior night, not only tonight, pregame recognition for the football players, but also for some of the other teams here at Bishop Luers, including the dancers. So we'll take a quick pause, and when we come back, special halftime festivities on senior night from Luers Field. It's the Battle of the Bishops, and not quite that entertaining of a first half, but quality defense is fun too. It's 14-6, Dwenger.
Indiana Physical Therapy is your trusted choice in Northern Indiana. For over 30 years, we've treated all walks of life, from peewees to professionals and Olympians, and everyone in between. Schedule at any of our 19 convenient locations, even without a doctor's order. We communicate with your doctor throughout your treatment. Indiana Physical Therapy is cost-effective, accepting all insurance plans and networks. We're open from 7 to 7 and can get you in the same day you call. Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
Welcome to Indiana Physical Therapy.
At Indiana Physical Therapy, our patients have had 20% greater functional scores for effectiveness, top 15% in utilization, with PTs ranking in the top percent nationally.
Are you getting any of this?
Certified orthopedic manual therapist, giving the patients optimal outcomes.
What he's saying is that Indiana Physical Therapy will get you feeling better, faster, and will get you back to your lives.
Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
The Acme Bar and Grill, where neighbors meet. A Fort Wayne tradition since 1941. We feature nightly dinner specials along with our iconic pizza, wings, and pork tenderloins, and barbecue in our family-friendly atmosphere with a retro flair. Additionally, we offer a full bar with 26 beers on tap from various Midwest breweries. We also have an area perfect for private events such as meetings, reunions, and banquets that holds up to 50 people. The Acme Bar and Grill, located in the heart of East State Village, where neighbors meet.
Polypro is more than some water epoxy spray-on. Our multi-stage process bonds to the surface and carries a 15-year warranty. Polypro is more than just spray and go. We'll prepare, grind, and patch the surface before we start. And Polypro is more than just one or two color options. Choose from a variety of designer colors and know that we'll leave the site clean, beautiful, and 100% antibacterial and antimicrobial. You want more out of your garage, patio, basement, or commercial space, and Polypro gives you more. Call for your free estimate or to schedule for summer.
We have an honorary night. For nearly 20 years, every student who enters the athletic department has been rated by Johnny King. Her passion and drive to instill within each student a sense of Catholic identity has been a positive force in Johnny's leadership and value of our Bishop Luers athletic programs. The mother of 3 alumni and a grandmother of 6, Johnny is humble, dependable, and supportive of the whole Luers family. She has influenced sports leadership at Bishop Luers through her time, talents, and treasures. Truly a night, Johnny has encouraged our students with a spirit that is infectious and has influenced them to succeed far beyond their 4 years in Bishop Luers. Johnny is behind the scenes in competitions, handling all the details for victory. Off the field, she has strongly supported the vision of Mother's Closet and the Civil Leaders program, both focused upon the care of others. Johnny King has been chosen as our 2020 honorary night because she believes in the Luers spirit and lives that spirit. She has truly been the biggest fan of our students and has served them unselfishly. Please join us in recognizing Johnny King as our 2020 honorary night.
Definitely my favorite of all the teams. Definitely my favorite. Good picture. picture.
The picture.
The picture.
No smiles.
Big smile on your eyes.
Smile for eyes. One more.
Thank you.
Come on.
I was like, who is
Thanks
this guy?
again, Jody Coon.
I didn't have it. Clarissa had it. That's 3. That's
Just
the
a reminder,
last installment of this.
at the concession stand, the Steelers Lane 1000 chili.
I mean, you got us out of bed.
Tell the girls I said they did a good job.
Kelly Fox is back in front. James Smith to the Arpaio. Just a reminder, first time guests are $9.95 per service. Also, if anybody would like to do some advertising at this store, please contact the President's office for your business opportunities. At Indiana Physical Therapy, we are your choice for physical therapy and athletic rehabilitation. Thank you to Indiana Physical Therapy for 30 years of outstanding medical care to our athletes and community. We're maintaining social distancing, and we are asking everyone with your help, you will be able to participate.
Girl, did I tell you that your mom saw him in the store and she just started beating into that? She had to hide the car. I was like, oh my God. She just said, she was like, yeah, I saw him. Okay, we got
Welcome to Indiana Physical Therapy.
At Indiana Physical Therapy, our patients have had 20% greater functional scores for effectiveness, top 15% in utilization, with PTs ranking in the top % nationally.
Are you getting any of this?
Certified orthopedic manual therapist, giving the patients optimal outcomes.
What he's saying is that Indiana Physical Therapy will get you feeling better, faster, and will get you back to your lives.
Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
PolyPro is more than some water epoxy spray-on. Our multi-stage process bonds to the surface and carries a 15-year warranty. PolyPro is more than just spray and go. We'll prepare, grind, and patch the surface before we start. And PolyPro is more than just 1 or 2 color options. Choose from a variety of designer colors and know that we'll leave the site clean, beautiful, and 100% antibacterial and antimicrobial. You want more out of your garage, patio, basement, or commercial space, and PolyPro gives you more. Call for your free estimate or to schedule for summer.
The Acme Bar and Grill, where neighbors meet. A Fort Wayne tradition since 1941. We feature nightly dinner specials along with our iconic pizza, wings, and pork tenderloins, and barbecue in our family-friendly atmosphere with a retro flair. Additionally, we offer a full bar with 26 beers on tap from various Midwest breweries. We also have an area perfect for private events such as meetings, reunions, and banquets that holds up to 50 people. The Acme Bar and Grill, located in the heart of East State Village, where neighbors meet.
Indiana Physical Therapy is your trusted choice in Northern Indiana. For over 30 years, we've treated all walks of life, from peewees to professionals and Olympians, and everyone in between. Schedule at any of our 19 convenient locations, even without a doctor's order. We communicate with your doctor throughout your treatment. Indiana Physical Therapy is cost-effective, accepting all insurance plans and networks. We're open from 7 to 7 and can get you in the same day you call. Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
Luers Field on the south side of Fort Wayne. A really good first half. Bishop Dwenger has the 14-6 lead in a game that probably was tighter in the first half than a lot of people would have expected, with Bishop Dwenger ranked 3rd in the state at the 5A level, and Bishop Luers, the smallest school in the SAC, classified 2A. And on top of that, Luers tonight without 6 starters, including guys who go on both sides of the field, so really down 8-9 starting positions, and yet they were really tough in that first half.
They're hanging tough. They're getting theirs through the air. Dwenger getting theirs on the ground, but it's really been a pretty even first half. So we're sitting here 14-6 one-score ball game. Luers gets the ball to start the second half, and here's some highlights from the first half.
Yeah, from the opening kickoff, which was recovered by Bishop Luers, not an onside kick, but a swift kick on the other side of the field that they recovered. I kind of set the tone for how this game would go. That said, it was a Devin Tittman touchdown run that put Bishop Dwenger on the board first. They got the extra point at 7-0. And answer there was Sir Hale, a 57-yard touchdown catch and scamper. The Knights, though, did have another answer to extend their lead to 14-6, another Devin Tittman touchdown run. But, yeah, you alluded to it. The numbers in that first half, very even. In fact, total yards almost identical, but they came in opposite styles, with Dwenger getting it done on the ground, Luers more aerial.
Yes, exactly. Dwenger has been really riding Devin Tittman today. We've talked about it's been a 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6-headed monster at the tailback position for Dwenger. But it's really been Devin Tittman has been carrying the load there. On the Luers side, Carson Clark been just riding his arm. He's found several different receivers. He's completed 10 passes. He has 122 yards passes.
So the pep band here at Luers Field. Here during the pandemic, can't have a capacity crowd, but a spirited crowd on both sides of the bleachers. Here at senior night, not only honoring the football players, but members of the cross-country team and cheerleaders, all the seniors here as part of the fall season. And there's a look at those and the football program, including the unsung stars, the managers.
And really, what a year to be able to do that and celebrate these senior athletes with all they've had to go through. The end of their junior years, sort of being impacted by the pandemic, and you come back for a very abnormal senior year. So honored to be here to be celebrating these fine young men and women today.
Class of 2021, and as far as these football players go, and unfortunately tonight they're without a couple of their senior leaders, in Ramon Anderson starting running back and safety, Foster Johnson starting right tackle. But in all, there's only 10 football players in this senior class. And as a result, back when they were freshmen, they didn't have enough guys to field a freshman team. That's the only time that's happened in Luers program history. But nevertheless, they have been great leaders, and Coach Kyle Lindsay says they've done a tremendous job really washing away what wound up being a rough 2019 season, and now they've provided great examples to the underclassmen this year on a team that relies on so many sophomores and juniors. They have set the tone when it comes to work ethic, teamwork, sportsmanship, and leadership, and a product of that, they are right in this game against Bishop Dwenger.
Especially with the sophomore and junior classes are much bigger classes for the football program in terms of numbers. So you're setting that leadership for these younger players who can come out firing on all cylinders here next year. And I would expect a much improved Luers team. They're improved this year from last year, and they're going to keep trending upwards in the years to come.
Yeah, and Coach Lindsay and his squad not concerned about the overall record here going against the Gauntlet SAC schedule. The one goal that they have as a team is to win a state championship, and they are in line to be a contender in 2A, especially in their Northeast Indiana sectional.
Playing a game like this would really help too. You're not going to see a team like Dwenger in your sectional once you start playing some schools your own size.
Not close. Saw there was a special senior section. Can't have all the students out here tonight, but the seniors showing out against their rival Bishop Dwenger. And if you're on the Saints side, you're probably not satisfied, even though you're up by 8 points. Saints got to feel like they've got another gear, something left in the tank to create some separation in this second half.
Curious if the trends continue. So far in the first half, we've seen Dwenger get it done on the ground. We've seen Luers get it done through the air. I think if you're really going to fight for a 4-quarter football game here with Luers, you're going to have to find some success on the ground at some point. But Carson has been able to keep them right in the game so far.
Yeah, it was 123 yards on the ground for Bishop Dwenger versus 122 yards through the air for Luers. While Luers only ran for 11, Dwenger just passed for 11, so a total yard difference of 1. Bishop Luers had the only turnover in the first half, which came on an interception on a 4th down play in Dwenger territory. It was effectively a punt. That's not a turnover, but it's not a productive kickoff return as the sophomore, R.J. Hogue, goes down just past the 5.
It can happen in football. Sometimes you let the ball bounce. You don't know what way it's going to bounce, and that turned into a tough play there. And now you're kind of pinned back to start the second half here.
Yeah, and all things considered this season, Bishop Luers hasn't had the bounce or hasn't had things really go their right way, but Coach Lindsay is trying to make sure that his kids remember, just like the saying goes, all good things have to come to an end. Well, sort of the poor luck that they've had, they feel like has to come to an end, and they'll have better fortunes towards the finish of the season. The junior Carson Clark hands it off to the junior Sir Hale, who wiggles his way forward towards the 10.
There's that shiftiness again. There really wasn't anything there in terms of what was blocked, but he was able to, he's a small back at 5'6", and he was able to just kind of duck underneath and slide his way through, slither his way through, and get 5 yards there.
After the 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5. Clark fakes the handoff, rolls, looking. It's caught, inbounds, short of a first down. Jaden Hill, the sophomore tight end, with the grab. Gets the cleat back on before 3rd down.
Really no gain there. Good defense on the play. Sets up a 3rd and 5 here. Very key play here, because if you end up punting from here, Dwayne's going to get great field position.
Dwenger D trying to step it up in the second half. Third and 5. Clark finds Johnny Sewell, the senior, with the catch.
Sewell's been clutch tonight. The senior really providing some senior leadership.
That was good for a first down.
Yeah, first down catch there. He had a big play in the first half that was called back by penalty, but he's made some big plays tonight and stepped up for his team as a senior leader.
Senior night for the Knights. Their final 2 regular season games will be on the road. And who knows what's in store for the state tournament. New set it down for the Knights. Clark has Hale. It's another first down for Bishop Luers.
That's the 3rd time in this ballgame that Sir Hale has kind of gotten lost coming out of the backfield and had some open space. They're trying to get it to him in space, and they're having some success doing so. Not necessarily through the ground, but through the air. He's kind of the high school SAC version of Alvin Kamara so far in this game.
Not a bad comparison. Sure, one that Hale would appreciate. Here, this Luers team definitely playing with a chip on their shoulder. Not only the smaller team with less depth and exacerbated by the injury situation here tonight. Incomplete quality pass breakup for Callan Stauffer, the senior cornerback.
They did a good job firing forward. They always say, get your hips square and fire when you see that ball come out. And that's exactly what was happened there by Callan, the senior.
Eli Gernhardt in motion behind Clark. Handoff to Hale. How about the power from the little man?
In the past, I said he's doing a good job getting something out of nothing. That time there was something there, and he was able to get that and then some with a great run on second down.
A lot of grit here from Luers. Good sportsmanship there after the tackle by the free safety Colin Vance.
Vance had the interception earlier in this ball game.
It's 3rd and short. Slant for Sewell.
Are we thinking that's 2-down territory here? 3rd and 1, you're throwing the slant. You're going to come back and run it on 4th and 1 here?
Instead, the Knights will factor in field position and punt.
That was an interesting call there on 3rd and 1.
It's kind of football in 2020, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether you're talking about the professional level, the collegiate level, or nowadays even here in high school. Some trouble on the punt initially, on the snap I should say, but no problems on the punt. The line drive though, with an impressive return. Sam Campbell on the return, a sophomore with a spark for the Saints.
Great return there by Campbell. Really, if they would have gone for it on 4th and 1, it pretty much puts them in that exact same field position.
And it was another strong strike from Evan Linker in place of Brody Glenna at punter tonight.
Well, it's been the Devin Tittman show. Let's see if that continues here.
That's how the second half begins as well. Tittman's got a lot of room, and he finds another gear. Devin Tittman diving for the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Saints. And Dwenger makes a statement on its first play from scrimmage in the second half.
There's that Dwenger running game steps up, and it's been Devin Tittman's night. It really has. And he's running hard, and he's tough to bring down. And let's give some credit to those Hogs up front for Dwenger really setting the tone.
They gave him a lane, and he made the most of it. 45-yard touchdown run for Devin Tittman. He's got a hat trick tonight. His third rushing touchdown. Extra point, good for Joe Belanda. And that makes it 21-6. Bishop Dwenger as the Saints go for their 5th consecutive win in this Battle of the Bishop series. It's a rivalry week in the SAC. And here are the two Catholic schools with their annual regular season matchup. And a series that goes all the way back to Dwenger's first year as a program in 1965.
It's really a competitive series. If you look 33-25 overall, it's certainly maybe gone a little bit more toward the Dwenger side here lately, but certainly two proud programs.
Yeah, well, Dwenger has won 4 in a row. 3 of those 4 games, save for last year, have been tight games. And now Luers hoping for an upset bid here tonight. Their head coach, Kyle Lindsey, is not shy to tell his players he went 4-0 during his career as a Knight against Dwenger. And again, it is, in some ways, it's gotten to the point a little bit of a David versus Goliath thing, just in terms of the size of the schools, and then as a result, the depth that you see, or the difference in depth that you see in total number of players on the sidelines. Trouble on the return, it squirts out, and Dwenger recovers.
34, Gavin Groves, there's that guy again. That's a name we've called several times. Johnny on the spot there on the misplay, and sets Dwenger up again.
And after effectively not having any turnovers in the first half, which was one of the keys to play as clean as can be, minimize those mistakes, so far in this second half, the Knights have not been as crisp. There was a poor return on their first kickoff return. They're a giveaway, and now Dwenger really has a chance to create some breathing room.
One of the things you heard all the time with the Ohio State team from last year was avoid the avalanche. And so far through the first half, Luers did a good job of that, but now things are starting to go. And you just need to see if you can keep that up, and now the Dwenger's going through the air.
And to the flat for Henry O'Keefe.
When Lytle throws, he's got a couple of junior targets he likes to look for. He's got the big fellow in Rocco, who's a 6'4" junior. And then Henry O'Keefe is more like the shifty guy. Actually made a heck of a catch in the first half, just couldn't get his feet in bounds. But those are the two gentlemen that Lytle, the quarterback's really been looking for this game.
Kyle Lindsey proud of how his team has competed this year, despite being undermanned and undersized. Had to love how they competed in that first half, and he'll appreciate the fire right there of the defensive front to corral Devin Tittman.
And there's another senior leader, number 73, Big Ben, coming up with the big stop
Ben
there.
Rectanis, one of the big boys of the SAC.
Playing both ways. Wasn't originally supposed to be that way, but it's had to because of some injury situation, so he basically only comes off the field when he needs a breather.
A guy that Jason Garrett and his squad had a game plan for, or game plan around as much as possible here tonight. Play action. Pass to the end zone. Incomplete because it was out of bounds. Nevertheless, impressive there is a jump ball for the big guy, Rocco Siaker, the big target. Third
Coverage
down.
was good, but the throw was incredible there. Putting it in a great spot, just wasn't quite able to get the foot in bounds. I would say it was actually really good execution on both sides. It actually went Luers' way because of how the play ended up.
It's 3rd and 9. 8:09 to go in the third quarter. Play action. Lytle ears it to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Dwenger extends the lead. Jack Tittman, the tight end, with the first passing touchdown of the game for Bishop Dwenger.
Great play action fake. There's some good coverage there, but man, Lytle put it right on him. Put it right between the 8 and the 3 for the touchdown.
Jack Tittman using his size and his athleticism to his advantage. Extra point for Belanda. And here on the first Friday night of October, fall-like weather. It's starting to snowball as Bishop Dwenger is up 28-6.
That's our first non-Devin Tittman touchdown of the night.
Stays in the family.
Stays in the family, yeah. 4 touchdowns, 4 Tittman touchdowns.
Wind or breeze at least has picked up a bit. Probably have a feel like right now a little bit below 50 degrees. A little bit of a taste of what's to come as both these teams have state title aspirations. Bishop Dwenger right now ranked number 3 in 5A. Bishop Luers not in the state coaches poll or the state media poll, but if you go by the computer numbers, they're ranked 9th in 2A.
Part of that reason being their schedule and playing in the SAC, playing against all these large schools, it's only going to set them up for success going forward once they get into tournament play.
Bishop Luers with 11 state titles over the years. Bishop Dwenger with 5 of their own. A couple of proud, storied programs. Jalen Lee, check off another sophomore for Bishop Luers on the field. And tonight, given 6 key guys out hurt, they've had to dip into the pool of JV players.
A lot of playmakers tonight, John. When you're saying who's making the play, you're saying sophomore, you're saying junior. So that just shows what to look forward to if you're a Luers Knights fan.
Yeah, the future bright for both sides.
Especially with a quarterback like Carson Clark, who's proven he can throw the ball, knowing he'll be back for his senior year.
For now, the junior trying to make something happen. In trouble. Did well just to get it away as the blitz with John Michael Fabini making life tough there for Clark.
Fabini really blew that play up, didn't he? He came off the backside. Clark didn't see him coming. They had the screen pass set up to Sir Hale, and he wasn't able to get it to him because Fabini was able to get pressure.
John Michael Fabini, the son of Jason Fabini, the former NFL offensive lineman, who is the offensive line coach for this Bishop Dwenger team. And heck, you want to talk about the depth that Dwenger has? Their coaching staff, probably deeper than some collegiate programs.
Yeah.
Here comes Fabini again on the blitz. And it's another incomplete pass, setting up 3rd and 10.
I'm not sure Clark saw Fabini coming on that play, but I'm pretty sure he
Sensed
felt him.
yeah.
Exactly the way he was coming, firing off the backside there. Fabini's kind of like, if you go back to Clay Matthews, who I believe isn't playing in the NFL this year, he didn't start his senior year at USC until his senior year. Well, Fabini's one of those guys that's sort of risen through the program, got an opportunity at the end of his junior year, and now he's really having a breakout senior season.
And the Packers fan sneaks in a Green Bay reference.
He hasn't played for the Packers in a while, but hey, still talking about a couple outside linebackers.
Once again, Clark hit as he threw it. It's a 3-and-out for Luers.
And now we're starting to see that pressure from Dwenger really get home. They haven't gotten the sacks per se, but they really affected all 3 of those last pass attempts.
And the size and the strength for Bishop Dwenger on display. And for Luers, they were playing with some extra adrenaline in the first half, but it seems like that halftime break and perhaps whatever the message was from Jason Garrett in the Dwenger locker room there has definitely changed things up in this second half.
Yeah, I'm thinking there are 2 drastically different locker room conversations at halftime. If you're Luers, you played outstanding in that first half, kept yourself in the ball game. And if you're Dwenger, I bet you they got a really fired up message from Coach Garrett for the second half, and they've come out that way so far. Another great punt.
Yeah, underrated bright spot here for Dwenger tonight, or for Luers, excuse me, has been Evan Linker, the junior.
Really backup
surrogate punter.
But now if you're Luers, this is that avalanche that we talked about. They avoided it for the first half, and now you're 4.5 minutes into the second half, and it's starting to snowball on you a little bit. So that they have to do what they can to avoid that and really stop the run here, because that's probably what's going to be coming at them.
It was once a 7-6 game. It was 14-6 at halftime. So far, this third quarter has been dominated by Dwenger. That's incomplete.
It was completed, but Sioka couldn't keep the knee off the ground, so he caught the ball with his knee on the ground and wasn't able to get up and run. So that'll actually be a couple-yard loss on the play.
Yeah, okay, so counted as a completed pass, but a negative play. Second and long.
And now you're starting to see the Dwenger offense sort of evolve a little bit. They tried to get things going through the air in the first half, didn't have much success, and then kind of went to the ground and pound game. Well, now that they were able to open things up successfully, now they're starting to get to the perimeter a little bit more. Right back to the bread and butter here.
Devin Tittman knifing up the middle. Actually, make that Louis Tittman, who last year, it's a bit of a surprise spark plug for Bishop Dwenger. This year, again, he's consistently in the mix for a team that has a mantra of unity. And an example of that is the unselfish nature of all the offensive weapons that they have, as you were just alluding to. A variety of ways they can beat you, and certainly no shortage of guys who can make plays. This is 3rd and 4.
Let's give some credit there to linebacker junior Evan Linker. He really got in there to force the 4th down and 2 play there.
Yeah, Linker not only thrust into action as the punter tonight, but not typically a starting linebacker. He is due to the injuries tonight. However, on 4th down, Dwenger goes for it and successfully gets the first down.
Linker in on that play as well, just couldn't quite get to the ball carrier before the first down, as well as number 55, George Bidet, the junior D tackle there. Those two were right in there trying to make that 4th down stop. Just a nice job by the quarterback, Lytle, falling forward there.
Dwenger's dudes on the O-line right now.
Yeah, they really have
that push.
A size advantage on the Luers front. It's noticeable even from the distance away that we are.
Brendan Lytle hands it off to Louis Tittman, who's wrapped up. The sophomore R.J. Hogue with the tackle.
That's all Hogue right there. You got penetration into the backfield, and once you get there, you got to finish, right? And that's what he was able to do on the play. If he doesn't make that play, there's some holes there. So that's all Hogue's play to make, and he was able to make it.
Part of the sophomore class that has really helped to ignite Luers this year. They've got wins over Wayne and Northside. And they've hung tough against some of the other big programs of the SAC. Last week at Northrop, they were down by 3 driving in Bruins territory before a turnover swung that game around. Another good tackle in space, Sir Hale.
That's another one that was Sir Hale's tackle to make, and if he didn't make it, there's some running room there. So credit for the rallying and the tackling. We talked about gang tackling in the first half, but these last couple plays have been the solo tackles. That sets up 3rd and long here. Luers hasn't been able to force Dwenger into too many 3rd and long situations. Luers was able to get some pass rush in the first half. Let's see if they can get some here on 3rd and long.
Lytle rolls out, going deep, caught in stride, touchdown, Saints. Henry O'Keefe. Oh my!
Great
52 yards.
Throw and catch and execution. Our first non-Tittman Dwenger touchdown of the night, but let's give credit to Lytle for really not being set, I think, when he threw that ball, and he put it right on the mark to Henry O'Keefe, one of the leading targets for the Dwenger Knights, the Dwenger Saints.
And in part taking advantage of a couple of injuries in the secondary for Bishop Luers as well, but credit Dwenger right now for balling out.
No good on the extra point, making it 34-6 after the O'Keefe long touchdown there.
52 yards, a big strike. Mentioned earlier how Jason Fabini, former NFL offensive lineman, is the O-line coach for Bishop Dwenger. The Saints also have Tyler Eifert representing them in the NFL right now, but of course the Knights have their own presence in the National Football League these days, with Jalen Smith, a Pro Bowler for the Cowboys, following after Anthony Spencer's Pro Bowl stint with Dallas. And congrats to Austin Mack, a rookie out of Ohio State, has made the practice squad with the New York Giants.
Yeah, Austin Mack was really a key contributor with a loaded receiver class that Ohio State had. He was really the senior leader of that group last year in that really good, successful Ohio State Buckeyes team. But obviously, Jalen Smith, who's done so much for the Fort Wayne community, has been a staple here. I remember, back years ago that the buzz was here at Bishop Luers Field with all these different coaches coming to watch Jalen Smith. Where's he going to go? And obviously, he ends up committing to Notre Dame and being just a star player and just a great person who's done a lot for the Fort Wayne area.
Yeah, congratulations to Jalen continuing to make a difference here in the community, even as he plays in Dallas. Recently opened up iCryo on Coliseum. Part of a cryotherapy boom. And Luers trying for a return to that glory in the rivalry against Dwenger. The last time that they beat the Saints, 2015, when they had Austin Mack. They won a state title all 4 years that they had Jalen Smith, while Bishop Dwenger has had the better of this rivalry recently. Carson Clark with a completion on the far side to Antoine Lake. And here, if you're the Knights again, you got to be proud of the first half that you played. Sort of reality has set in, and certainly credit to Bishop Dwenger for the way that they have turned things around in the second half. But if you're Luers and you've had the resilient spirit throughout this season, you got to stick to it here and continue to fight and scratch and claw.
Yeah, one of those sports terms, right? Sort of that made-up word, stick-to-itiveness. You gotta stick with it. You're in the avalanche right now that we talked about, and you just need to keep fighting and just get first downs and just try to get some positive momentum. So a big third down coming up here.
Two and a half minutes left in the third quarter. 3rd and 3 for Bishop Luers. Clark with good protection and a pass completed to Jaden Hill. Move the chains.
Great catch there by Jaden Hill, the big sophomore tight end. And let's give Carson Clark, that was a heck of a touch pass there. Like, he didn't really have a clean lane there. He was able to put it up over the linebacker and get it in there to the tight end Hill for the big first down there. And that's just the type of positive momentum we were talking about that Luers needs to get going here.
Final home game of the regular season for the Knights. You saw there a check of the upcoming schedule presented by Indiana Physical Therapy. Clark hurried. Tally another completion to Sir Hale.
That time, there's a couple times Dwenger's kind of left Sir Hale roaming free. That time they were in a zone defense, so they were able to, coming out on that wheel route, he's able to make the catch, but good job rallying and tackling by Dwenger. Weren't going to get beat by the man coverage where Sir Hale slipped out of the backfield like we saw happen in the first half for the big touchdown for Luers.
Combination of the pressure that Dwenger's been able to provide, coupled with their coverage and the lack of some of the weapons for Bishop Luers, they have not been able to really get down the field vertically with the passing game. Sir Hale straight through the middle like it was shot out of a cannon.
Whenever there's been a big play, we've usually said the name Sir Hale for Luers, and that's what we saw there. But let's give some credit to the big hog mollies up front, maybe we'll say, as open up a big hole for Sir Hale there.
In the absence of starting senior running back Ramon Anderson, there is Sir Hale, who, as we have said, type of kid who really doesn't come off the field, kind of personifies what this Luers team is all about. And here, even in the final minute of the third quarter, it's a credit to his fitness level. On 1st and 10. Clark had time, not anymore. Sacked.
Fabini getting home again. There's that guy. There's that guy again.
John Michael Fabini, the senior, was on Outside the Huddle's player to watch list coming into this week, and you've seen why. And that'll do it for the third quarter. It was 14-6 at the half. Dwenger outscores Luers 20-0 in that third quarter in this Battle of the Bishops on the south side of Fort Wayne, presented by Indiana Physical Therapy.
Welcome to Indiana Physical Therapy.
At Indiana Physical Therapy, our patients have had 20% greater functional scores for effectiveness, top 15% in utilization, with PTs ranking in the top % nationally.
Are you getting any of this?
Certified orthopedic manual therapist, giving the patients optimal outcomes.
What he's saying is that Indiana Physical Therapy will get you feeling better, faster, and will get you back to your lives.
Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work, play, and life. Call us today.
Regular season home finale for Bishop Luers against Bishop Dwenger. Knights in a big hole as we enter the fourth quarter. Quick look back to the last home game that the Knights had. They won in come-from-behind fashion. Overcame an 11-point deficit to defeat Northside. 49-46 over the Legends in what was frankly a pretty legendary game. Johnny Sewell had some key grabs in that one, and here the senior with a catch on the sideline.
He's had a few good grabs here tonight as well. Setting up, just trying to get some positive yardage going to set up third and not quite as long. Probably is going to amount to 4-down territory anyway.
Draw for Hale.
Gets about 4 there, so instead you set up about a 4th and 7, which really, when you look at your playbook, it kind of opens things up a little bit. If you're sitting at 4th and 11, there's only a handful of plays you can call, but on 4th and 7, there's a lot more than that, a lot more options available to you. I think I'd try to slip Hale out of the backfield here. That seems to be where you've had your most success tonight.
A blitz and a sack.
Kellen Stauffer coming off the corner, I think, on that play, getting to Carson Clark on the big 4th down play.
Stauffer, the senior. Turnover on downs.
How about that, 4th and 7? You dial up the corner blitz, and no one picked him up from the Luers offensive line, and Stauffer ends up making a great play.
Play action. Brendan Lytle. Home run pass, incomplete. Henry O'Keefe, fresh off of a 50-plus yard touchdown catch. Right there. Unable to haul in another deep ball, but got to be impressed by Lytle's arm strength, nevertheless.
Yeah, he fired that one. Luers kind of let him get loose a little bit on that last drive with the 52-yard pass. At that time, he was double covered, so certainly making some adjustments to the coverage.
Lytle showing off the legs, tripped up a little bit shy of a 1st down.
That's one of those where it's definitely a quarterback design run, and when you set it up like that, your running backs can act as lead blockers for you on the play and really kind of give you an advantage in terms of having more blockers than guys that you're actually going to have to block, and that's why that hole is there for a nice 7 or 8 yard run.
Yeah, good example of the overall physicality of this Dwenger offensive unit. Speaking of physicality, love to see Dakota Sulef making that tackle after he had to leave the game in the 1st half with an injury. Talk about a hard-nosed 5'5" senior on senior night.
Great play, knifing into the backfield.
Evan Linker.
That's a name we've called a few times tonight. The linebacker stepping up with the injuries and bringing up 4th and 1 here.
No quit in this 2020 edition of the Knights. Got Aziz Dixon in the backfield for Bishop Dwenger at this point as the 3 Titmans get some rest.
Really a stable of backs as we see Gavin Groves getting some carries. I think we've seen at least 5 guys get carries here.
And now it's KJ Titman at the H-back spot who has the 1st down.
Good job by KJ lowering the shoulder on 4th and 1 and making sure you get the 1st down, and that's what he did there. Jalen Lee did a nice job in run support off the corner position on that last play coming up, but very physical run there.
Yeah, Lee, one of those sophomores. Speaking of the young players for Bishop Luers, beyond just this sophomore class that's really made a difference in varsity games this year, tip of the cap to the Luers freshman team in the last week. They had a impressive victory over Northrop. They trailed 15-0, rattled off 26 unanswered points to improve to 2-2 in their freshman campaign. And another building block for the Knights going forward.
Absolutely. We have strong, we've clearly seen it tonight, strong sophomore and junior classes getting valuable experience. Those freshmen that you just referenced, John, are going to be big contributors, maybe even as early as next year.
And on this senior night, again, worth us pointing out their impact. Lytle scrambling, chucks it down the field. It's caught by Titman. 1st down and then some. Inside the 10, the tight end Jack Titman, who had a big touchdown grab earlier in this half.
Yeah, let's give Big Jack Titman some credit there. That's a contested catch. Like, there's good coverage on that play. It's almost a jump ball a little bit as Lytle wasn't able to get set on that play, but he took a shot and was able to kind of bounce off and make a big play there.
Nice vision down the field by Lytle, even as the pressure eventually came. It helps, though, when Jack Titman, who's bigger than the guys who are trying to slow him down, just raises the hand up in the air.
Yeah.
That's a target you can find in the white.
Kind of turned into a schoolyard play there a little bit, didn't it?
1st and goal, pass across the middle. It's Jack Titman again. Touchdown, Saints. Dwenger turning it on in the second half.
Low kick there on the
Ryan Ward, his first extra point attempt of the night. And that one's blocked by Luers. Definitely a handful of moments for the special teams for the Knights tonight that they can appreciate in review of this game. While for Bishop Dwenger, given the championship mentality for Jason Garrett and his group, even on a night now that they're up by 34 points, there will be some teaching moments for them going forward. And looking ahead, a couple of road games to wrap up the regular season for Bishop Luers. Got to feel like that's a winnable game at Southside. Snyder, not quite up to their typical powerful standard this year.
Yeah, that should be a test for this Luers team.
And another, that'll be the final test to set them up, going from playing 5A and 6A schools to set them up for their 2A state title run.
You have to think one of the goals, too, for this team is coming off a 3-win season. Can you get more than that this year? And I think that looking at their schedule, it certainly appears that they're going to be able to do that.
Jalen Lee on the return, got past the 20 and then was turned back. Sophomore gaining experience. It's a check of the SAC standings brought to you by Indiana Physical Therapy. Entering the night, Bishop Dwenger in a 3-way tie for first with Homestead and Carroll, who are playing each other tonight in Southwest Allen County. I'll check for a score there momentarily. It's 28-21 Homestead in the first half.
Certainly Dwenger taking care of business here. That leaves all the scoreboard watching to that big one to see how the SAC, the top 3 in the SAC in particular, are going to shape out here.
And with so many big games going on tonight, rivalry week in the SAC, not to mention playoff baseball, NBA and WNBA finals. Whether we're on your second screen or maybe fitting into the third or fourth option, glad to have you with us. Brett, I've seen your setup come March Madness time, and nights like these, you have the benefit of having a wife, Melissa, who happens to be the video production director for the Tin Caps here in town. So you get a little bit of help when it comes to advanced technological setups.
Yeah, I would let that be a lesson to all you boys and girls out there to marry up, and then you get the best setup in Fort Wayne for the big games like that.
Again, glad to have you with us here at Luers Field tonight for this Battle of the Bishops.
This is the 59th meeting of the Battle of the Bishops, and with Coach Lindsay being here for several years now, with his dad being the old coach, how many of the 59 do you think he's been at?
The majority of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's
a
what I
lot
would
of
think.
great moments for him along the way. Third and 9 pass is caught shy of the first down marker. By the way, as of 4 minutes ago, Homestead leading Carroll 42-35. And from the Dwenger standpoint there, they're pulling for the Chargers because Dwenger had that gut-wrenching triple overtime loss at Homestead a few weeks ago, while they then bounced back and defeated Carroll. So they would have the tiebreaker against the Chargers, but not the Spartans, going for the SAC victory bell.
Not only is that score 42-35, John, I believe there's like 8 minutes left in the third
quarter. Yeah, so far from the finish.
Who's going to have the ball last in that one? That's kind of what that seems like.
Yeah, as we start to gear up now for a college football Saturday, don't have the Big Ten yet, but that's a Big 12 kind of score.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dwenger in search of yet another SAC title. Last year it was Homestead that won the conference for the first time, but the Saints won titles in 2018, a couple other in the last decade, in 2015, 2010. Got to break out the calculator to rack up all the SAC titles for the Saints. Two storied programs in not just the Allen County area, but statewide, even nationally, really revered. Big full moon in the Summit City tonight, and thought maybe that was going to lead to an upset for a while. Luers was hanging in, down just 7-6 midway through the second quarter.
For really most of the first half, I mean, they were right in the game, one possession game
at halftime.
And then
Dwenger has showed their strength in numbers and size here in the second half.
Yeah, sort of snowballed on Luers in the second half. You talked about the 20-0 quarter in the third quarter. And that's really kind of wrapped this one up here. But still some time for Luers to get some momentum. We talked about once you get into playoffs and they're playing schools more like their size, this is still some key moments, key 6 minutes on the clock here for Luers, and a key fourth down right here to keep the positive momentum going.
4th and 5 pass incomplete. Again, still like the competitiveness of going for it there. Something to take away from that kind of attitude.
Talked about Dwenger's deep roster. I would imagine at this point you're probably going to start to utilize some of that. I think we've said at least 5 or 6 ball carriers have toted the rock already for Dwenger, and look for some of those second-team guys to get some action for them.
Yeah, and indeed that is the case, including at quarterback, where it's now Bodie Dickerson, a sophomore, and it takes over for Brendan Lytle. Mission accomplished for the senior starter. Hand off to Aiden Rogers.
Good inside run there, and really Dwenger showing their run blocking effectiveness up front with some young linemen in now as well.
100+ players in the program for Dwenger. And at this point, only 9 of them are Tippmans. As of a couple years ago, it was 18. Now you've got 9 Tippmans on the roster, plus a coach and a cheerleader, too. It's Corbin Till. With 5:32 until this one's over.
After those last 2 carries, it might be up to 8 different ball carriers now for Dwenger, unofficially. Mentioned Jason Fabinho coaching up these young guys. What better offensive line coach could you possibly have at this level than a guy that with a storied NFL career like that? He doesn't get to coach his son, who makes it directly, who makes an impact on the defensive side of the ball, but he does get to coach his nephew, who's one of the starting offensive linemen for Dwenger.
Yeah, Joe, the start at center tonight, and Joe's really made great strides over the course of his career, to the point where Jason has joked, "Whoa, how'd you get this good?" Meanwhile, on the other side, again, really have to be impressed with the work that the Luers coaching staff has done this season, too.
In particular, just having a lack of depth, then having to really kind of make up for all of the injuries that you've had this year. And you look at the Luers sideline right now, and you just see some guys that just aren't able to step up. And then you see guys like Sir Hale, who's maybe not in line to be the featured back this year, but now he's getting this valuable experience for next year.
Yeah, and it's Ryan Palmer who works with the offensive lineman for Bishop Luers. Coaching staff on both sides, they give all the credit to their players. Coach Garrett jokes it's his job to stay out of the way. And for Coach Lindsay, he appreciates how coachable his team has been and how much they have competed.
You definitely have seen that tonight.
Oh, yeah. And bigger picture, too, especially with both of these being Catholic schools, it's really about the development of not only these young men as football players and athletes, but the whole person experience and plenty of really standout students and guys committed volunteering-wise, and just a lot of impressive teenagers out there. And so this Luers team, despite the score here against 5A Dwenger, they've got belief that they can get hot when it matters. Once the state tournament starts, trying to add to a Northern Indiana record, 11 state titles, though that's not the only sport here in which the Knights have had success over the years.
Yeah, some names to throw out there, especially with the Major League Baseball playoffs going on. You see baseball in there with the state title. Kevin Kiermaier being a Luers guy. Deshaun Thomas being a Luers guy with the basketball career he's had.
Yeah, Kevin right now in the postseason with the Tampa Bay Rays. They've got a series with the Yankees set to start this weekend. Good opportunity there for the extra teams unit, special teams unit for Bishop Dwenger to get some extra work in, and Joe Belanda good on that field goal.
About 35 yards out from Joe.
With plenty of leg on it. Second week in a row in which he's hit one from about that distance, and seems like he's got range to go 40 plus when it matters. Speaking of Kevin Kiermaier, who has won 3 gold gloves as a center fielder in the American League, has won a platinum glove as the best overall defensive center fielder in the major leagues. Maybe not as many people realize that Kevin's brother is the head groundskeeper at Wrigley Field. In a way, that's almost like more of a hard-to-get dream job. And unfortunately, though, for our Cubs fans out there, they don't need to maintain Wrigley going forward. I was a surprised to see the Miami Marlins here in this strange year that is 2020 make the playoffs and now advance.
Yeah, what a year for just those teams that have had those COVID battles between the Marlins and the Cardinals making the playoffs. The Rays typically try to moneyball their way, and they're doing a great job of that right now. They have, between Kiermaier and former Padre Manny Margot, and then they also traded for Brett Phillips, and they're 3 of the more defensive-oriented outfielders in the league. I really thought that they might try to do some wacky defensive stuff with maybe 2 outfielders or something with the ground those guys can cover. Got a backup quarterback in here for Luers.
Yeah, it's Nelson Kanapke. And the handoff for Sir Hale. And man, the motor never stops for Sir Hale.
He still never got tackled.
Snipping out a first down. The whistle's the only thing that stops him.
You can't tackle what you can't touch, and he's so shifty that they really kind of struggle to get, tacklers really kind of struggle to get their hands on him at times.
Again, you talk about how this Luers team that lacks depth has so many guys who go both ways. Kanapke almost with a hookup with Johnny Sewell.
It is senior day. Let's throw one up to the senior and let him make a play. Sewell almost came down with that one.
Yeah, we've seen Nelson, though, make plays at defensive end. He's been a tight end tonight. Special teamer, and head coach Kyle Lindsay said that Nelson really is the epitome of a football player. And he competed for the starting QB job. We've seen Carson Clark do a great job. Here's an interception for the Saints, picked off by Sam Campbell. He's got a convoy of blockers leading the way inside of the 15 before it's Kanapke who puts those defensive end skills to work with a hard, forceful tackle. And the clock continues to tick here with this game being separated by 35-plus points.
And that's all you can do at this point, right? Give your receiver an opportunity to make a play. It didn't work out there. We got some backups in the game now trying to get some valuable experience. But still at this point, it's all about just executing and learning and growing and getting ready for the things that lie ahead with the state playoffs after a couple more regular season games here.
And for Bishop Dwenger, what's ahead? Home game against Snyder next week at Shields Field on the Dwenger campus. That facility opened up last year. And then the Saints will wrap up the regular season with another home game against Northrop. So still some work to do and maybe still some scoreboard watching to do after this one concludes here. And after this final minute, checking in on that Homestead-Carroll game as Dwenger will be rooting on the Chargers who they have the tiebreaker advantage against. And right now, a chance for the Knights to show their Luers spirit one final time in trying to prevent Dwenger from putting up any more points.
I think we'll see some great sportsmanship here after the game, John. Just a well-played game on both sides. Like you mentioned, a couple Catholic schools that really appreciate the rivalry. And I think just being football players, having had that disciplined mindset and things like that, I think we'll see some great sportsmanship here coming up and in the game.
Yeah, maybe and not as much apparently as was in past decades with a lot of these guys coming out of the same feeder schools and youth football programs. A little bit more now sort of separated by what side of town you're on, but no doubt there's still some guys who are buddies, and we've seen a lot of great sportsmanship from these kids throughout the game. Final score, Bishop Dwenger 43, Bishop Luers 6. The Saints prevail in the battle of the Bishops. We'll step aside, come back to wrap it up from Luers Field after this. It's Friday Night Football presented by Indiana Physical Therapy.
Welcome to Indiana Physical Therapy.
At Indiana Physical Therapy, our patients have had 20% greater functional scores for effectiveness, top 15% in utilization, with PTs ranking in the top % nationally.
Are you getting any of this?
Certified orthopedic manual therapist, giving the patients optimal outcomes.
What he's saying is that Indiana Physical Therapy will get you feeling better, faster, and will get you back to your lives.
Choose Indiana Physical Therapy to get you back to work.
Battle of the Bishops. The current bishop of the Fort Wayne South Bend Diocese, Kevin Rhodes, led everyone in a pregame prayer before kickoff tonight, and players from both sides coming together here after the game now for prayer and togetherness going forward after a hard-fought game that was, for the first half, a one-possession game. The Saints led 14-6, so the final score maybe belies the competitiveness of this game overall.
Yeah, really a tale of two halves, right? Just like you mentioned, 14-6 ball game at the half with really total yards. I think it was 1 yard. I think it was 134 to 133 in total yards in the first half. But really, Dwenger kind of showing off the depth is really what this game was about in the second half. They won the second half 29-0 and really got the ground game going in the second half and kind of proved the number 3 ranked team in 5A that they are. They really showed themselves that in the second half.
And we'll see if they can perhaps add another SAC victory bell to their trophy case on the north side of town. Special senior night here for the Luers football program, and on top of that, the other fall student athletes here at Bishop Luers. And a lot for the Knights to be proud of tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely, especially the way they competed really throughout the night, but especially in that first half, able to get Sir Hale in space and make some plays and really keep this game competitive for the majority of it.
Yeah, big thanks to everyone behind the scenes on our crew, including Lana Ferguson, Nolan Broxton, Austin Lass, and Bill Shaw running cameras, Matt Hentz in the truck. Jeff Kethley helping us out too inside, remotely with Patrick Madrid inside the truck, and director and producer Doug Ferguson anchoring it all. Some additional help from David Hentz tonight too, and thanks so much to you, Brent Herring, for joining the fun.
Yeah, absolutely. My first time. Hopefully it won't be my last. I really enjoyed it this evening, and just enjoyed a great SAC football game here as we get through the rest of this season. And best of luck to both of these programs as they enter the tournament time and playoff time coming up here in a few weeks.
And most of all, thanks to everyone who tuned in here tonight. And we wish everyone the best going forward, not only in their football seasons, but just trying to truck through this wild, unprecedented year and battling through the pandemic. So for everyone on our Neverends Sports Network crew, this is John Nolan saying thanks and so long from the south side of Fort Wayne. This has been a special presentation of Bishop Luers Knights football on the Neverends Sports Network, presented by Indiana Physical Therapy.